Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. So we got a brand new year, clean slate. Many of us are on a path of self-improvement, want to make things better in our lives. What does that actually mean? That term, self-improvement. I know we have goals, want to have the right mindset to attain those goals. How do you do all of that? And yes, I'm going to say New Year's resolutions. I'm sure we're working on them. We can change into the year. How do you stay on track? Let's talk about that today. And she helps people with this all the time as an amazing life coach. And I love her concept. She believes that we're all broken. I know that hurts, but beautifully broken. We all got something going on, and it's all good. And she's back with us. Dawn Manderfeld joins us on the program. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today. How are you, Steve?
Very well, very well. On a path of self-improvement, if you will.
Yeah. It's January. Everybody goes through self-improvement, it seems, the
Hmm.
beginning of the year.
Do you think that that's a reason for us to take inventory in all those different categories of our life, relationships, personal stuff going on, business, just take a like inventory. Does that sound reasonable?
I I believe that at the beginning of every year, it is a really good practice to really go back and evaluate the year before. Um, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I know a lot of people do. But I like to go back and I like to take the month of January and just kind of set some goals and some areas of my life that I would really like to practice working on for the
Hmm.
next year. And at the beginning of every new year, I like to go back and look at those and see what I kind of forgot, see what I actually did work on, because it kind of just tells you where you're at in your life, like what really was important that year. I mean, you can sit, like you and I could sit right now and put goals for, our businesses, our families, our relationships, and we can be really excited about them. But as the days go on, as the months go,
Hmm.
priorities change drastically because of one situation, one change in your life. So are we really making proper goals and
Hmm.
setting the right mindset for the new year? Or do we do the same thing every year and we don't really make a lot of changes? Like where where are we really at in our life with all that?
It's funny we're talking about this because I have a friend, and he's very call it somewhat strategic, goal oriented, and he's part of the men's group I'm in that I shared with you, and we make commitments, and we actually have 90-day goals. Not even kidding, that's what it's called. And we list them, and we all inspect each other. Hey, how's it going? Did you do this? Did you do that? And he said the other day, it's like, yeah, that's all great, but half the stuff I put on my 90-day goals, that's not my goal anymore. Things like you just said, things have changed. So I believe we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace if it doesn't go according to plan. Now that's not a free pass to say, I had said goal, I didn't do it because that came up. No, it legit reasons. Like let's say you have certain goals, then something health wise pops up and you have to address that. That is a priority. So now you got to put those goals to the side. It can get frustrating, but yeah, I think you need to give yourself a little bit of grace in those situations. But again, not a free pass to, just throw them aside. You can't say, yeah, I had a goal of, losing 10 pounds, but I got invited to 4 parties. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
I overindulge, but no, that's not a valid excuse to get out of it, right?
No, and it's not. And it's interesting that you bring up weight loss. What is that? 99.9% of the world at the beginning of the new year
Hmm.
want to set a rate for weight loss. Well, here's some really interesting news. Our goals can affect our weight loss. And
Hmm.
sometimes if we just slowly add in a walk and call a really good friend 2 times a week just to have good positive non-judgmental conversation. Every little thing you make like that can literally help your body get healthier. And that's what people don't understand is that they always think losing weight is the way you have to go to get healthy. Your mindset needs to be healthy too. When your mindset's healthy, you can naturally get your weight to just start going in the right direction, all because of a mindset that you made. So you do have to change your goals. You have to set some aside. Let's say January, you have, let's say you wrote down 15 goals for the year. Can you realistically focus on those 15 goals all in 1 month? No,
Obviously, no.
you can't. But if you focus on every day trying to stay positive, trying to reset your mindset, a lot of that has to do with how we're going to accomplish the whole new year. Does that make sense? I
Yeah.
mean, everyone goes, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go for an hour and a half every day. And you haven't been in a gym for 3 years, maybe never. Unrealistic goal. It's going to make your mindset frustrated because you're going to let yourself down and you're going to be sore and hungry and you can't even be a good friend when you're in that mindset, if that makes sense. So when you talk about going into the new year and really trying to make progress, you have to have grace every day, but you also need accountability to make sure your goals are not so far out there
Mm.
that it literally sets you up for failure already at the beginning of the year. And that
You
can be for businesses, that can be for anything.
you used a word that I think is powerful, or two words, actually three. Write it down.
Yep,
You gotta have it in front of you, and it's got to be written, preferably over typing. Scientific proof about that, how it cements it into your mind. But a lot of us just let it bounce in our head, and we sort of have the goal, but we don't really see it for what it is. And writing it down may give us an opportunity to think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. That's what I'm gonna do. You think about it, but if you write it down, it's like, all right, lose 10 pounds, maybe some thoughts along with that, how you're going to do it. You might see it a little differently,
yep.
in terms of how you're going to do it. The word mindset, we're talking about that word today. What does it truly mean? And how do you get into a quote unquote mindset to achieve your goals?
A mindset is when you take the time to really think about what's important to you and you really think about areas in your life that you really need to work on. I mean, you really need to make some changes in, and you sit down with a piece of paper and you just start writing to yourself. You just start writing the first thing that starts coming to your mind about why it's important to you. Can you realistically achieve it? How much of it can you realistically achieve? And is it something you can work on every single day, a little bit of time every day? A mindset is very powerful. It can either make you fail or it can make you succeed. It can make you extremely succeed. And another thing I like to encourage people is that when you do mindsets, make a visual board.
Mm,
Like you sitting in your office right now, I don't know on the other side of the screen, like I have a door right there. You can make a visual board. It doesn't have to be huge, but if it's right there and you're sitting at work or you're coming in here and you're having your quiet time in your favorite room, just look at it and go, oh,
mm,
those are what was really important to me this year that I really, really need to work on. And the more you see it, the more you look at what you write down, the more excited every day you're going to get because you don't have to you don't have to leap every single day to get there. It's one little thought process at a time. It's, It's something that you're choosing that's important enough for you to work on without you having to stress over it. When you write it down, you make a vision board, you realize what really is important for you to work on at that moment. Your mindset will relax about it, and that's when you'll be more successful. When you're like in a hurry to get it done and you're stressed over it, your mindset's going to be all over the place and you're not going to accomplish anything.
Mm, I gotta do the vision board, and you're another reason to do it because it keeps showing up for me. And I remember being on a train, uh, visiting my son at college in August, September. And I remember sitting on the train, it's like, started going through my phone and finding images for my vision board that I planned on printing out. I probably still have them on my phone, never printed them out. And more people are saying how powerful it is. And just where you're sitting at work or whatever, who cares if anybody sees it? They're not even gonna know what it is. Picture of a big house on a hill. It's a red sports car, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Just have it up there. And like we say, manifestation, you're just staring at the same thing and it becomes a reality. Mindset. Can we do an example? For example, let's say I want to lose 20 pounds. That's my goal. I was in great shape, I don't know, a couple of years, 5 years ago, whatever it is. I want to lose 20 pounds. I know I need to do it. I've done it before. Um, what would be my mindset to get that done? And I know it varies with everybody, but just a broad example.
A successful mindset for 20 pounds, well, for any amount, it's always best to start out with smaller goals. So my goal at the end of the year is to lose 20 pounds. However, in January, I would really like to lose 2 of those pounds. My goal would be to lose between 1 and 2. Don't set it huge when you're first trying to make changes. Then, okay, what is one big thing in your eating plan that you can take out? Do you drink pop?
Mm.
Okay,
Look
I'm
at you
not
with
gonna,
pop. Look at you. Look.
I don't drink pop, so whatever.
No, we don't call it
Soda.
that
Do you
here
guys call it soda? Is
Sota.
it soda? Um,
Good, because you're from
pop,
You're from
soda.
Minnesota, right? Either, yeah, you are, right? Minnesota.
Yeah, yeah. Or I call it sugar in a can.
That's the
Um,
best description ever.
but it really is when you really break it down.
100%.
But let's say you drink 2 cans of pop every day or soda.
Hmm.
One. Start your first week, just drink one. Put the other one away, see how that goes. Okay, now week 2, let's say you go out to eat for lunch every day. Okay, and it's McDonald's, Burger King, something that's fast food. Okay, every other day, do not go out for lunch, bring a lunch.
Mm.
So that's how you can make a mindset to be successful. If you're going to, okay, I'm going to take pop out or soda out, I'm going to take all sugar out, I am going to walk 2 miles every day, you already set yourself up for complete failure because you're not going to keep that weight off. The goal is to lose the weight, to lose it correctly so that it stays off. You don't want it to come back on. So, a successful way to do it is every week take something that's not healthy
Mm.
out of your daily routine. And when you're at work or at home or before, you know what? Let's say you walk on a block, walk around the block 2 times. If it's cold outside, I literally have my inside tennis shoes and I literally walk and run the inside of my house through every room, up the stairs if it's too cold outside. But every little thing like that is what is going to make your mindset positive, non-stressed, and successful.
Mm. I'm getting visuals here when we talk about this goal, say losing weight, that you need to look at the big picture. For example, all right, I'm eating better, very intentional about the meals that I'm eating. Cut out the soda. Now I'm just drinking water, maybe a little bit of seltzer water, 0 calories, all good, naturally flavored. But then let's say, on the weekend you have like 4 beers. You know, you have to look at all of it because you can't say, and I guess this would apply to all goals. You can't say that doing those few things over there is going to get it done, but you're still doing this over here because, those 4 beers on the weekend, that's almost one day's amount of calories if you're talking about pints that you've ingested. So you
Yeah,
got to
but
look
it's
at everything.
also it's the calories in it.
That's what
Those
I'm
are the
saying.
calories that literally add to body weight.
Yeah.
So when you add up the calories, it may be a one day as far as what your calorie intake should be, but it's also the kind of calories you're doing because it's not fueling your body. It's literally building up the sugar, building up the carbs, and it's making your body hold on to it. So yeah, you can be great all week, but if you do that on the weekend, you really have just pretty much messed up everything that you've changed on the week. You really have to find moderation,
Mm.
and it takes time. I mean, maybe stopping soda or pop in the same week and then trying to cut down on drinking on the weekend, you're going to have to maybe pick one or the other when you first start out. Because as you start getting the sugar and the bad carbs out of your system, your energy starts going up. It really does affect your brain process.
Hmm.
And as you start getting feeling that, you're going to naturally want to start changing everything else. I mean, it will fall in place once you make the change and actually just start in little increments. You know, instead of putting it all together in the same week, you're going to burn yourself out by day 6 and you're going to just say, this is too hard. I can't do it. And
Mm.
you're going to get frustrated with yourself and you're going to fail.
I think it's the same thing that we're, on the alcohol thing, just by the way. I'm not preaching here, I'm just reporting. Surgeon General wants to put labels. This is just within the last few days, labels on bottles of alcohol saying that it causes cancer.
Yep.
And that's based on research. And it's, they're proving more and more that it's not just the calories, not just the alcohol. It changes your metabolism by way of your liver. So it's impacting you. Just saying. So, I mean,
Yep.
look, this is just looking at everything. And I guess it could be the same thing if you have a business plan. Let's say you have a job, you want to start a business, you've got a lot of things in place and it's all looking good, but you're kind of burning the candle on both ends. And you're not really being productive in that goal. You have to change your mindset, and maybe you have to wake up an hour earlier and take care of things so the day isn't all so crazy and you can actually focus on your current job but also focus on your ultimate goal of starting that business. um, Again, it comes down to looking at everything you got in front of you, and how can you make it work. And to me that sounds like the part of the mindset.
It is all your mindset. And am I saying that if you do things in a slower process and you put up the vision board and you write out all your goals and you write out what your ultimate reason is and why you want to accomplish them, I'm not saying it's not going to be stressful. Because
Hmm.
whenever you start something new, it's it's literally adding a different mind thought. And you're changing something in your head. Like you're literally changing something that has been a part of your life for years. You're literally trying to retrain it
Hmm.
to start something different. And you can't do that and keep everything in your life the same. When you have a positive mindset on something you want to do, you can't keep doing what you did all the other years that you did it because you didn't accomplish it then. Why would it work now? So
Hmm.
it literally takes time. And you literally, like you said earlier, you have to have grace on yourself because we get so excited. Oh, I'm going to do this year. I'm going to make it happen. This is really going to work for me this year. And you go into it so so fast and so powerful that, like you said, you burn yourself out. That's why it's so important that in your mindset, it's like, okay, this is my goals, this is what I want to do. However, how long am I going to give myself to do that?
Hmm.
And will I give myself grace if something else comes up and I need to put one of these on hold? You literally have to tell yourself it's okay to do that as long as you're still really working on what's important to you and you're still working on breathing through all the processes and just taking that time to do it the right way instead of the quick way and having failure. You may as well change it this year. Slow down with it. Set yourself up in little areas of success and give yourself longer time to accomplish it. It that's a mindset. And the older you get, the harder it can be to literally do that because you've
Mm.
already, everybody says you can't what
Teach a
teach an
dog
old
a
dog
dog new
new
tricks.
tricks.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
And yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can, but like you said, and the first thing that got was stuck in your ways, stuck in your ways. So the older you get, I think that's more concrete within us.
It is.
But there's absolutely no reason why you can't change that. Sometimes maybe it's a little harder to do. And let's be honest, we're talking about, number one thing, weight loss as goals for, 2025. The older you get, the harder it is. You can't deny that. It is what it is. I remember I was in my 20s. Oh, spring's coming. Got to lose some weight. All right. I'd eat cereal as my only meal of the day and I just jog. Like it would melt off me. Different than when you get older. But then
It is.
again, everything's harder because you got more baggage too. I don't mean on your body. I mean, even you're carrying more emotional stuff. And the energy healers even tell me that it's harder to work with somebody who's a little bit older because they've been through more stuff. Doesn't mean they're not going to. It just takes a little more time.
Yeah. It's habit.
Mm.
You
Isn't
can put
everything
mind,
though?
I mean, it's like mindset really is changing your habits, and
Yeah.
habits are not so easy to change.
Hmm. It seems to me, the older I get, it is all habits. Everything we do is a habit when you think about it. If you make a habit of getting up every day at 7 o'clock, okay, that has become a habit for you, and your body just gets used to it. And a lot of times you just wake up anyway. I've gotten into the bad habit of eating before bed. I don't know what happened. The train came off the track, and I'll be like, let me get a spoon of that before I fall asleep. And I know where it's coming from because I used to work very early in the morning and I would come home like noon and I'd eat lunch and take a nap. So I'm going back to old habits. It's like a trigger to go to sleep. So I just got to break it. It's no big deal. But
Yeah.
it came back. But it was a habit. And accountability, I think, is important too. And that's where, as a life coach, that's where you come in. How do we find you, Dawn? How do we connect with you?
You can call me at 952-200-1103. My website is livingbb.org, and my webpage is Living Beautifully Broken.
I love that name, and I use it all the time when I talk to friends. Um, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. We're broken. It really is.
And
Um,
it's okay.
the core is still the same, but there's a few more cracks there in my shell.
Yep.
A friend of mine wrote lyrics to a song, local guy, and I think that's what it is. We are, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't even need to fix that. You just need to work with it. Um,
Yep.
thank you for being here today, and happy New Year too.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Have a blessed week.
You too. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.